What's up, delicious vegans? This is your brother David here with Tasted Vegan, y'all. And I want to reintroduce myself in a more formal way, in a more interactive way, right here with you. And I want to talk about a little bit of reasons why I started Tasted Vegan and how I became vegan myself. And why do I decide to not only live this way, but create a space where other people can learn the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the left and the rights about living plant based. So, my whole story begins in Africa. Well, I wasn't born in Africa, but if you walked into our house, it would be Africa because both of my parents are from Ghana, and we didn't go by nobody else's rules but our own in the context. So, uh, you know, I was always a lean person, as you can see, muscular, and I've always been like on the slimmer side, and I could eat anything I wanted to eat. I could have chicken, burgers, all the things. I ate everything growing up, and it wasn't up until around the age of 20 where I started noticing that when I ate particular foods, maybe like rice or fried rice or drumsticks, chicken and rice and this and that and this and that. I just started noticing how the pattern of my food selection had me feeling energetically. Like I just remember having the itis all the time after every meal, and it just became okay because we named it something. It became okay. Oh, the itis. Oh, he's okay. Let's give him some time. Okay, he just got to sleep it off. Oh, but I was started asking myself like, why does my food make me tired? Why do I have to be tired after I eat? Because it started affecting my work. It started affecting my ability to create content after hours. Because after food, I was just like, okay, well, sleep time. Or after food, can't do my homework when I was in school. All those kind of things. So I just wanted to get a more clear understanding about that. And I started noticing that the itis I felt is a general thing that a lot of people experience. And I didn't think it was real until I noticed that everyone experienced it. And I was like, hold on. So why do we all feel like this? Now I was asking for myself because other people weren't really that interested. And I started recognizing that particular carbohydrates, refined carbohydrates like white rice, for example, it has no nutritional content. It actually takes more energy to digest rice than the rice gives in energy form. So I started noticing that over time that has a big play. Then I started noticing, learning from Dr. Sebi, learning from so many different teachers and illustrators on YouTube and on the internet. And around the time when I decided to become plant-based, I just decided I want to see what happens to my body when I change the things that I put in it. I really wanted to see that. I wanted to find a way to get out of that sleep cycle every time I finished my food. So the first switch I made was brown rice. I just decided to make small changes here and there, here and there. Brown rice was the swap for the white rice. Didn't really love the flavor or the taste at the beginning because it's just different. And then I got myself to hone in on the nutritional value. Then I started adding a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of thyme, some salt. And I got my rice popping right. You dig what I'm saying? I started noticing that I didn't have that same drawback after my meals. And that's just like in a small regard, in a small swap, okay? Because way before that, it was like using milk, like cow's milk, 2%. I used to love cereal so much, and I would always have like a gallon of milk in every 3 days or something like that, because I would eat cereal every single day, probably twice a day. And I had lots of acne, had lots of just mainly skin issues at that point in time. And then my mother was also having digestion issues, gas issues, so she decided to switch to a lactose-free milk. Used that for some time. And I just started noticing, man, like nothing that they're gonna chemically conglomerate is gonna be good. I'm just keep noticing it, like. So I just stopped doing the milks, and I went to the almond milk. Skin issues started to fade away, and I started doing more detoxes. I started honing in on how my body's actually feeling, so I started deciding to learn more about fruits and vegetables. And at that time, I made these small changes, but I did not remove any animal proteins from my diet selection. I only changed the carbs, and I only changed the dairy, and it took me steps by steps. I couldn't really make a switch for anybody else to see me and say that, oh, he's a vegan. I couldn't do it for anybody, you know. I just needed to walk at my own pace about it and really make my own decisions with each food. I couldn't do it because someone told me. Now, the first person to tell me, I was already on my way. And I would say around 2018, I went to Costa Rica for my first trip. And I stayed out there for 90 days because I was forcing myself, not really, but I was giving myself the opportunity to experience how powerful my online business strategies are because I was earning great money at that moment. And so that's what I did. I went out there for 90 days and I just started meeting people, started sharing, started fellowshipping, started, in an international way. And I met so many people who've also traveled to Costa Rica, who are from Germany or who are from Panama. And I ended up meeting so many different individuals who taught me so much about myself, about the entire universe, the world, about society, and especially about food. In Costa Rica, I met Dr. Aris Latham. And Dr. Aris, you can find him at sunfired.com. Amazing teacher. He was the first person that actually showed me what it looks like to watch the plant-based life or the plant-based living. Got to see it firsthand, and I also got to see him teach some of his students, and I helped them with the videos. I helped them with some content while I was there. And in those moments, I started to realize why it makes sense for the animal industries and the food industries to sell particular foods. Started understanding and learning more about how the body, especially melanated body, adapts to the foods in which are introduced, and utilizing the different sweeteners and things. They can cause people's microbiome to basically call for a craving of the previous foods they've already eaten. So this is how they get you coming back, basically. And this is why detoxes are very important. This is why fasting is very important. Not to say that I don't eat any processed foods at all, because I'm going to the market tomorrow and there's a lady there who has these homemade muffins. I mean, it's processed, even though it's homemade. Process has to be kind of honed in on, actually get a clearer understanding of what that should mean, when we start saying no processed foods. Because we're talking about foods with preservatives, we're talking about foods that have extended shelf lives due to different chemicals and things like that, and things that have chemicals that are not naturally already in the food. Those are some of the things that I don't ingest at the moment. But even with that, if I'm in a space like here in Costa Rica, it's if you're not on your food, if you're not on your smoothies, if you don't know like fruits and you're not really familiar, it's going to be really hard. I mean, not everyone has a menu for you to just easily pick something up off of. Sometimes if you're shopping in an international, you might pick something, and if you don't know all the words, then you might not see that huevos is eggs, and you're gonna have eggs on your plate when it comes out. So there's a little challenge there with the language. So to make your own food is really key. So over here on this table, I have some quinoa over there, some carrots, some sweet potato, onions, rice, mushrooms in the can, and black beans in the can. And I got bananas, mango, and some oranges that I found outside on the tree. And with all of that right there, and some lentils in that bag. So that's supposed to be a quinoa and lentils. So it's gonna be carrots, sweet potatoes, onions, the seasonings, all that's in the bag with the lentils, and then I'll have quinoa as a bed for the lentils to sit on top of, and then find something else to top it off with, like some cilantro or something like that. But you just have to know like your own things already in that kind of regard. But I was able to learn that because I spent some time with Dr. Aris. I got to watch him make the pies. I got to watch him make the juices and the smoothies. And I was already making smoothies before that, but that's when I was making smoothies every day. When I returned from that trip, I was making smoothies every day because I loved how I felt at the top of the day when my body is nourished and satiated, but I don't feel the baggage of the food in my system. So I feel so light, but I don't feel hungry at all. It's like energy time. That's what I utilize my fruits for, to get that energy, not to eat bread and eggs or bread or let's say like some French toast. I mean, you can have that sometimes if that's your type of way, But for me, I like to kind of optimize sometimes, and fruits and smoothies definitely helps me do that. So I know this was a lot of story here, but I wanted to kind of give you guys like some of my personal experiences and some of the things that make me care about this life path and this life experience, to have a life experience in a plant-based way. Not really just a lifestyle, but an intentional experience, because I'm not hungry, I'm satisfied. you know. And I've actually been cooking for so many people on this 1 month and 2 weeks trip that they want me to come back just so I could be the one cooking. I'm serious, and they don't eat plant based. But whatever I make is only going to be eating plant based. I haven't fried a fish. I haven't seared a chicken or anything since I've been here. I've only messed with my beans, my grains, my vegetables, my seasonings, and people want me to stay. So, I mean, I'll talk more about my vegan chef experiences later, but what I do know is it has taken me a long time to be fully plant based. I would definitely say about 2 years in total. And it was step by step. No one forced me, and no one tried to make me think that I was supposed to do this. I just started noticing that there was something that needed to be done. It started off with the itis. I started off with the acne. Then it started off with the itis. Then it started being, wow, this is how they have this supermarket stocked up. And I started recognizing how they do that, how they're able to cause these animals to force produce by force impregnating the cows or doing something else genetically with the chickens. I feel like it's too much, you know? It's too much. It's too much harm to find a good. It's too much. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like driving backwards just to be where you are in a way. Like, oh, we're here already? Well, we might as well start taking advantage of the daylight and make sure we're growing food and make sure people can have food in their yards. Like, why don't people have food in their yards? Why don't you see a fruit tree in your whole 10-mile radius? You know, like those kind of questions. Why is there restrictions on where you should be able to grow? That's because they want to hold the limitation of the food control. So that's why they want to keep us in a space of always buying food from the supermarket that has come from other places in the world because we're not even allowed to grow. So that's just like ignorant control. Like, but it's smart because it works for their own agenda. But if you really want to work and serve the soul of the people on the planet Earth, all of God, it only makes sense to allow this place to be as abundant as it really is. And those are my type of, you can call them political, spiritual observations and opinions when it comes to how how best could this earth run for the people. You got to help them with the food. People are being told every day on the TV to go buy some stuff that's super acidic, is going to make their body slow down, and the more that they eat it, the more that they're going to want it, and then eventually they're going to be optimized towards the lesser side of wellness. And that means they're going to be sick more often, or that means they're going to be achy more often, or that means they're going to feel stressed more often, or that means they're going to have cravings more often. And all of that is just keeping people in a victimized state. And they don't even know that their biological chemistry is what is causing the cravings. So I keep teaching them about everything that I know. So with that being said, there's a little bit of an insight getting to meet me and to see from my view, you know, how I see some of these things in the world today. And also, I would definitely be sharing more with you all another platform that I've cultivated that focuses more not on how to use the plants in the kitchen, but how to generate a lifestyle with plants. And that's going to be illustrating more so about gardening, showing people how to utilize technology, hydroponics, and things of that nature to grow their own food. And I think it's vital and important. I don't think that it should be something that someone else knows how to do. You know, oh, we just go to the grocery store because I don't trust the grocery store to stay stocked up. We saw one time earlier in 2021, you know, grocery stores didn't have certain things because certain things weren't being delivered. I feel that if people had the opportunity to grow, it wouldn't be so much pressure on the grocery stores. And then second, we could actually reconfigure how the society looks. People need to know how to not just only create their own food. I know people who travel and they don't even know how to cook, so they're dependent on all the restaurants. And that's cool. You can taste around, but it's just not a good strategy. And I think people deserve more in context to the knowledge that is found when they understand themselves, their own body, and their food. So with that being said, my name is David Mensa again, and this is Tasted Vegan. Now on Tasted Vegan, we're not going to have so many talks like this. We're going to be in the kitchen. We're going to be, you know, blending some things, chopping some stuff, and you know, sauteing and baking stuff. And that's basically what we're going to be doing. Also talking about different herbs and supplements and vegetables, sea vegetables, vitamins, that help the body and boost different functions of the body, also remove toxins that don't need to belong within ourselves, showing us how to detox, showing us how to cleanse and stay in refreshment. That basically is a hydrated state that you can keep yourself in by making sure you're drinking enough water and also finding water in your food. So with that being said, I appreciate you. This is your brother David. I'm the one behind this. And yes, this is my smile too. So remember this, and I'm going to talk to y'all soon. Peace. Stay delicious.